Hello guys, and welcome to Market Watch with Block. Today is the 9th of September 2021. Of course, first thing you do today and first thing you do whilst watching this video is hit the like and subscribe button, and of course the notifications, so you will be here right now, the first people watching this and knowing what's going to happen next with Bitcoin. And today we're going to be looking primarily at Bitcoin and what's going to be happening and what has happened. Yesterday's analysis, we saw all predicted kind of a day of consolidation, and that is exactly what we've seen, and it has consolidated right under this. Let's get all the drawings on there. It is consolidated right under this big old it was support and now is resistance. We're just trading underneath it, and it caused this consolidation just here. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing yet. You know what consolidation means basically is when the price kind of just ranges between a pretty tight price range. And this is a sign of traders in the market not making a commitment really in either direction. You know, a lot of traders kind of getting out of their positions, you know, just waiting to see Bitcoin show its hand a bit more. And equally, a lot of traders kind of thinking, okay, you know, here's quite a good period to start to accumulate. You know, it's never a bad time to accumulate Bitcoin. However, you know, you have a lot of the more short-term traders within Bitcoin at the moment, or the retail investors, should we say. Now, what is happening at the moment? From this consolidation, we saw from this very aggressive wick down here, this other big candle rejection here as well. And now, just recently over today at 4 a.m. BST, we saw that it's kind of creating a bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern, which is a key sign of consolidation, you know, whether it's an ascending or descending triangle. You know, what we can expect from these and what we historically see from these is when it reaches the end or the tip of the triangle, then there is usually quite a big and aggressive move that's going to come. Now, if you're in the premium channel, you'd have known about this morning, and you can start to get all your positions ready. But of course, it takes a little bit of time to edit and release these videos, so you won't necessarily be on the absolute cutting edge of knowing what Bitcoin is going to do. So you should join the premium channel to rectify that. But as I was saying, as we kind of reach the end of these consolidation periods, and especially in these triangle formations, as we are doing right now with Bitcoin, we are expecting a bit of a move. Now, there's a couple of things that do confirm this. It's really tricky to say which way it's going to go. If I had to put my money where my mouth is, I'd say around about 60% bearish at the moment. And reason being for that is we are technically trading just below this kind of key resistance. So the likelihood is that could sway traders enough to actually short instead of long. But what I do know is if we do break above this kind of 47K region, then I think there's going to be quite a strong pump. I do think it's going to give us a bit of false hope, I'm not going to lie. I think we'll go straight up to where this 20 DEMA is, around about 48K. Bounce off that, come back down to the future pivot and stay on this upward trend line, and then go ahead, bounce up and test this quite key resistance up here at about 49.5K, which is, you guessed it, very close to the 50K. Very, very tough resistance to break through. What else kind of like reinforces this kind of big pump up to this region is there's a very low liquidity around this area. You can kind of see that with this volume profile just here, there's quite a bunch of, you know, volume that took place there, which means there's probably going to be a lot of sells there as well. And all the way up to there, there's not really a lot going on. Right just here, if we just remove all of the drawings again, you can just see here there's a huge amount of volume which we are right in the middle of. So once we break through and out of that, then we can see a big move afterwards, consolidation. Now that also means the same in the other direction as well. Let's bring the drawings back. So just down here is the 50 DEMA. It wasn't too long ago that we were kind of debating, are we going to hit the 200 DMA, which is a bit further down here. But I think this is going to act as a very key support. So if we break down here, then as you can see from these kind of ghost candles that I've drawn on, I think we're going to bounce down, come back, retest the support, and then start a pretty significant downtrend towards realistically around about the 43K. We could see 41K depending on how much fear kind of comes into the market, how, you know, paper-handed these traders are at the moment, which I think this candle and this big dump here, I think has got rid of a lot of those paper traders. I do think we're kind of in a bit of a safer territory. It's going to be a little less volatility. Obviously, famous last words, but I think we're going to start to see some back to normality with patterns and just regular kind of styles of trading. However, that being said, right now, this is kind of pretty awesome territory. When Bitcoin consolidates, it's a great time for alts because they start to really pump. You know, people get a little bit bored within Bitcoin because it's not doing anything. And then so people start to, you know, chuck all their money into alt. So many alts are doing so many awesome things at the moment as well, from Sol to XRP. There's a lot of hubbub about that. Of course, ADA, you know, Cardano, Ethereum spearheading the market with the NFT. You know, I'm not going to say a bubble. I think NFTs are going to stick around for a bit longer than that, as it's just simply a new form of trading. And certainly with the amount of money that's been invested into like the exchange of these commodities, I think is just going to be wild, you know, a new wild west of crypto, which is exactly what we need. And, you know, give the SEC more heart attacks. From a kind of technical indicators point of view, there's not really much to say, to be honest. I mean, we've actually remained relatively neutral, and this is not surprising. Over the past 24 hours, we have been, you know, really pretty flat, consolidating. So what does matter is the next 24 hours and what's going to happen there. One thing I can say, which is very nice and refreshing to see for once, is the USA has come online and not done anything completely erratic. As you can see, they came online around about here and it has just remained the same, which gives a really good indication that it is a flat market and people are just waiting to see what Bitcoin's hand is going to be. Like I said, if I had to unfortunately choose which direction it might go, I'm about 60% bearish. And if it does kind of break down below there, then my play personally would be if we break above 47k, then I'll have a TP1 of around about 48,300. Keep it just below the actual resistances with all your TPs and with stop losses as well. Keep it below. If you don't want to get stopped out early and you don't want to miss out on your take profit, just short. So always put it a little bit below, and then that means that at least you can guarantee profit. It's always nice to guarantee profit, you know, and it's heartbreaking when you miss out on 0.1%. And then my stretch target would be 49.5k. We could well hit, you know, 50k for sure, but don't risk it because I think a lot of people are going to be setting their TPs or sell orders, should I say, just below that 50k for sure. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, if we break below, it's a kind of mess of resistances here, but support, sorry, but I would say conservatively, if we break below something like 45.5k, just below this kind of like zone of where all these wicks have bounced off, if we break below that, then I foresee us going down to 43k with a stretched take profit on a short of 40. So 44k would be my initial kind of TP1, and then 43k TP2. You can have a stretch target of 41,500 for sure, but you know, we'll see. I mean, look at the size of this rejection here at 43k. I think something similar to that will happen again once we get to that territory. So make sure that you're not kind of trying to stretch it beyond that. If anything, I'd probably put some buys there, to be quite honest. And yeah, I think we'll just track underneath this downward trend line for a bit until we get to potentially around about this region, 43k, where we're consolidating, and then coming out at the other end of September, hopefully we'll be pumping up towards the 100k October onwards. Anyway, guys, that consolidates. That wraps up today's Market Watch with Block. And like I said, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, but most importantly, hit the notification button, and you can be on the cutting edge of Market Watch with Block, and of course all of our other awesome BPTV content, such as News with Block, and also the Dojo sessions with Reggie, who will also be uploading some of his live streams, which will be coming soon. Super exciting. Learn to scalp from literally one of the best traders I have ever traded with, worked with, buddied up with. Yeah, anyway, guys, of course, as I always say, patience pays.